Curiosity, man, that's where it's at. That's what spices up life. Not just spicing up life, but it can drastically improve the quality of life because it can get you better health, it can get you better money, it can get you better relationships, it can get you better knowledge and wisdom and just an overall life experience. You know, that dash between your birth date and your death date, those two dates you don't really have any control over, but that dash, man, you have a large degree of control over that one dash that you're going to get between your birth and death date. So curiosity is where it's at. You know, there's people that they never seem to want to meet anybody or talk to new people outside of their current circle that they're very comfortable with. A lot of people are very comfortable living inside of the box that other people have designed for them to live inside of, otherwise they would be uncomfortable. And that is alien to me. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying for me and people that I relate to and empathize with, that is alien to us. That would drive us crazy. That's a prison cell. And, you know, metaphorically and even literally to a degree, it is a prison cell because you've confined yourself in this box of people that you're already familiar with and you're not interested in expanding. Don't judge it. I just don't relate to it. I can't do it. So here's what the driver behind curiosity is going to do for you. I mean, just by default, you're going to learn more. You're going to be better informed, better educated. You're going to ask questions. It's going to make you a more interesting person. And the funny thing about being an interesting person, you're going to be an interesting person because you're going to be more interested in people. And people that are not curious are typically thinking about how interesting they might be, but not because they're interested in other people. They're thinking in terms of, I'm an interesting person because I live inside of this box that's been built for me that I'm totally comfortable containing myself inside of. And people in my current box of whatever are already happy with me. I'm happy with them. I'm interesting. So for us, the curious people, we want to be interesting by being interested and other people, other things, events, happenings, because we want to dig and know about it. And we can't stop on the surface about why. We want to go behind the why and figure out the driving force behind, you know, whatever, why somebody does this or that, or why somebody doesn't do this, or world events that happen in the news, all kinds of things. We don't want to know just what it is. We want to know why and what's behind the why. And digging deep like that, beyond the surface, reveals so much to us. And it all becomes about creating these experiences. Our travels too. We want to go to new places we haven't been to before. We love the old favorites, but we also want to expand and go to places we've never been to before. We're also typically likely going to be the people that are going to start a business, a home business. We're also the people, we are typically wild and free spirits. So those of us that learn about passive and residual money, once we learn about it, we cannot unlearn it. And that becomes our mission typically for the people that are curious. When I learned about passive and residual money, the main takeaway for me about passive and residual money is that it decouples me from my time, because that's the biggest prison sentence ever in the history of mankind, is not having passive residual money. So just ordinary earned income, like a job income, or even for most self-employed people are more chained and shackled to the dollar than people with a job, which is kind of hilarious because a big driver behind somebody becoming self-employed is to get away from that nonsense. So speaking of prison cells, chained and shackled, bounded to the dollar by how you spend your time. For the curious of us, nonsense. We have to get away from it. So when we learn about passive and residual income, about this is the income type that decouples a person from the time, it breaks the chains and the binds, you know, all those things that bound you to the dollar, it unshackles us. Yeah, we need passive and residual money. And it's not even about the money, it's about the freedom it provides. So that's another thing. And then we can spend our time how we want, and we can expand our horizon. We can climb the mountain metaphorically or literally and see a horizon full of other mountains. And we're not like, okay, I'm just going to rest here forever. No, we'll rest for 5 minutes and celebrate, right? Enjoy ourselves. But then there's a whole horizon of other mountains, and we're so curious at what those mountaintops are going to be like. And we're also curious about the journey up those other mountains. We're also more interested in figuring stuff out. So if we're driven by curiosity, when there's a problem, we don't have the time for this, we don't have the money for that, we don't have the skill for this or that, we have a a checkered, questionable past. We don't have the setup for what we would think it takes to be successful in this or that endeavor or adventure. Well, for us curious people, no, it's just something to figure out. And then what's the journey going to be like? All the processes. What books are we going to have to read, or what are we going to get from them, and teachers we might have to acquire, and the intellectual acuity we have to gain, and the seminars, webinars, and the experience, and all this expansion, whether it be travels or learning or meeting new people, whatever it happens to be, it's all about these experiences and how we spend our time, this dash that we get between our birth and our death date. We want to be rich in experiences, and we need passive and residual money to give us the freedom to have these experiences without being chained and shackled to the dollar. So passive and residual money is an absolute, we have to have it now. Unfortunately, a lot of the curious, just as a lot of people in general, never learn about it because it's not taught in our school system, which is done on purpose. It's also not taught in the media or politicians. They don't talk about it. It's all done on purpose because they need obedient, unquestionable obedient workers to chain and shackle to the dollar. So F that. Passive and residual money. You can Google it. I've got it on my web all over the place. TomBerkenmeyer.com, just like it's spelled here on social media. TomBerkenmeyer.com. I've got videos and blogs, thousands of them, on the topic matter of passive and residual money. So research it, man. Google, and also my TomBerkenmeyer.com website. And if you're interested in working with me, feel free to private message me and I'll show you what I've got. And if it piques your curiosity, lots of curiosity, then you've got a good partner in me that we can relate to each other on, just for the fact that we are curious people and we want to decouple our time from our income so we can be free to expand on all of our curiosities and go down all of those bunny holes of our curiosities as we want to have the freedom to do that. Okay? So I'll hear from some of you soon. Bye for now. Feel free to share this. Comment below if you wish. Your wisdom, your experiences with curiosity. Feel free to comment and share and love. And bye for now. Mwah.